Hi, this is Satima Fowler, co-CEO of Capstone IT and founder of RochesterRockstars.com. Today, we are in for a treat. We are going to be talking to Brittany Brandt, and she's the proprietor of the Penthouse at 1 East Avenue. And this is amazing. She went from, you'll hear her story from how she went from an event planner working in the corporate world and all the experiences she's had up to now, and then she decided to do her own thing, which is hosting some cool events at this Penthouse location. We're literally on what floor?
The 11th floor.
The 11th floor, and you see a complete Rochester scape up here. How cool is that? So, welcome, Brittany. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome to the Penthouse.
Thank you. So, Brittany, I am dying to know, like, I have seen that you worked at Wegmans, you worked at lots of places. What led to you saying, I want to do these events at this cool space?
Well, I had been in the corporate genre for a really long time. I actually started off in culinary school. I was going to be a chef and take over the world, and through twists of fate and being at the right places in the right times, I went from cooking to restaurant management to catering sales to event planning. Moved up here about 12 years ago with Wegmans, and I was on their event services team, and then got to a point where corporate America is great, don't get me wrong. But there's great benefits, there was great people, it was an awesome experience with structure and just knowing how to do things. But then the creative part of me wanted to just sort of branch out, and it just happened to be kind of serendipity. I left the company, I was starting up my own event planning business, and then the Galenas approached me about 3 years ago and said, hey Britt, can you come down here and we've got this event space and help us bring people back down to Rochester and doing some fun stuff. I'm like, okay. So I did. And we're entering into our fourth year of business now.
So you had the space, you were partnered up, and somebody gave you a challenge. Hey, help us bring, make this Rochester area a cool space. What did you do next?
Well, it was a lot of learning. I've never run my own business. I'd never run my own space before. So it was a huge Mount Everest-like learning curve. And, you have to get your liquor licenses, and you have to do your DBAs, and you have to do in your LLC, and you have to make sure all of your insurances are correct. So learning all of that was, getting it done and learning it at the same time was a huge challenge. But the first lesson I learned in entrepreneurship was that you can never, ever do this alone. You have to rely on friends, family, colleagues. You have to constantly ask questions, and it's okay. I think there's a stigma with being an entrepreneur that you have to be this super person, do it all on your own. That is so not true. I could not be where I am without the help of my support group, my friends, my family, my colleagues, people that I've trusted and relied on, and hey, can you help? I don't know how to do this. And I've always been of the belief that you have to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you at what you want to do in order to be successful. So
you got the mechanics of how to get a business started, all that going. The hard part, how did you now get butts in the seats? How do you get people to your events?
Again, it's largely, we did all of this with guerrilla marketing and kind of bootstrapped it. I didn't hire a marketing team. We relied a lot on social media, and again, friends and colleagues and connections, a lot of people that I knew from Wegmans and just the business world prior to that, and reached out to them and said, hey, by the way, I've got an event space in the heart of downtown Rochester. You want to come check it out? And it was really, really word of mouth more than anything. And then now that we're a few years in, we have a lot of reoccurring business. So our clients that started out with us, and they love us, so they've done multiple events, and they tell two friends, and so on and so on. So that's kind of how we did it with the marketing.
So this space is a really cool space. It holds about 100 people for like a sit down.
Yes.
Is that what you were telling me?
Well, it depends on what you want to do. So we've done, for a wedding, ideally with a dance floor and just utilizing the interior space, we can do about 100 to 120. We're doing a 3-day corporate event in October, and we're going to be seating about 200 in classroom style in here. Which we can do. The best part about this space is that it's sort of a blank canvas. It's deceptive in its size. You can do a wide range of stuff. And then when we do our silent discos, we have 300 people in and out of here in the course of an evening without blinking. So it's
that sounds so cool, guys.
So much fun.
Silent disco. You literally put on headphones. and you hear your own music.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were saying if you choose to take your headphones off, it's kind of fun in itself because you get to hear everybody else doing karaoke.
Yeah. Good and bad karaoke, but it's fun.
I think
It's a lot
that's
of
so
fun.
cool. So it sounds like you're doing intimate weddings here, you're doing corporate business events here, and then these events that you're promoting and planning.
Yes,
yourself.
yes. Well, we're smack dab in the middle of downtown. So, for example, the Jazz Festival is going to be right below us on Parcel 5 for the last weekend. So we're doing an observation party here on June 28th. And Tommy Brunette Band's coming. We're partnering with Iron Smoke Distillery. And we're doing sort of an upstairs, downstairs sort of thing. We're opening up our plaza level. The Galenas are very generous in letting me do all sorts of fun stuff. So we're building a 4-foot tall raised platform bar that's about 20 feet by 80 feet on the plaza level. So you'll be able to come there, have a full cocktail, and then watch what's going on the parcel. And then for Fringe Festival, same thing. Anything that's happening on Parcel 5, we have the best seat in the house. You can stand here, get a bird's eye view of what's going on. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I like doing that in addition to our private events because it really gets a lot of exposure, and people want it. Rochesterians, the minute the weather breaks, everybody wants to get outside, and for me, I'm a rooftop girl, so if I can sit out here and watch the lake and the city views, then great. So I like to give excuses for people to come do that with me.
So I think like earlier we were talking and you said part of the reason you felt confident that you can go out on your own and do this is that you felt like you were kind of good at sales. And a lot of people think sales is a dirty word. I'm not a salesperson, and they run away from that. What does sales mean to you? Like, how do you get people here? Like, what are you doing that's sales?
It's not so much about I think the stigma with sales is that, there has to be somebody sitting on a phone and, hey, do you want to buy my product? It's not like that at all, especially in the event industry. I think, again, you're relying more and more on the testimonials of your friends and colleagues and whoever you get up here. From a sales standpoint, I think you really have to be passionate about what you do and be knowledgeable about what you do. That you can always tell a salesperson who's kind of phoning it in, like, oh, this is really great, and but if you know about it, if you can tell a story about it, then I think it's like shooting fish in a barrel, to me anyway.
Yeah.
It really is. I'm passionate about what I do. I can tell a story about the building and kind of tie people into its history, and if you make that sort of human connection, I think that's 90% of the sales game.
I agree that you're not selling, you're more just telling and educating people or solving a problem for somebody. Maybe they're looking for a space and they don't know how to go about planning an event, and here you're going to kind of put it together for them.
Yeah, it's not so much here's an event space, come do it. Here's why you should have it here. Here's what we can provide to you. Here's all the services we can provide. Here's what's going to make your experience a fantastic experience.
Yeah. And I think me and you are similar in one way where, like, I have a business as well, and we're a technology business. We take care of other people's computers, but rarely am I on the phone cold calling. It's more, I think both of us are connectors. If we're at an event and I meet somebody who's a lawyer and who may be a doctor, I file it away, and next time there's a chance to connect people, there we are, and that's how I've grown my business. And yet I think you were saying similar to you.
Oh, the mental Rolodex is always flipping. I think if you ask any of my colleagues or good girlfriends, they'll know that if I'm out in a situation at all, it's like, oh, you need to meet this person. You guys would be awesome together. And there's been some really good relationships that have formed not just from me doing it, but like just being a connector. Like here's a piece that you might need, and here's the person that can provide that piece. And oh, by the way, this is a great relationship. So
if I'm planning my next client appreciation event, can you give me like a couple of tips on how I should go about planning a successful event?
Well, for the client event, you want to make it fun. You want to show your appreciation to them, and so it's not just a matter of throwing out some hors d'oeuvres and opening up the bar. You can throw a rock at the Eastman School of Music here, right? So I would probably suggest to you, like, let's go look at their gig board. It's all these students. You can hire them for nothing, and they come over here and they're so talented. So you have live music that's local to Rochester, that's provided by the school, that's right next door. Provide aspects and enhancements to the event. It's not just a physical space, it's the services that you can provide to make your event unique, really.
So have something unique.
Always have something
music or a magician walking around, like something.
Oh, I've brought pinball machines up here. I've made an arcade up here. We've done tea parties. It's fun. I love theme parties. What else have we done that's fun? I mean, we did a whole.
And you said you have to be pretty detailed oriented too.
You do. I mean, you have to think ahead. It's two parts. You have to be able to look at the room and see that all the pieces and parts are there. Are the tables set? Is the room clean? Is the food on time? Are your vendors here? And then there's also the other part where it's like, okay, is the room warm enough? Are they gonna? You feel the room getting warm, and you've got to take care of it before your client says, oh, it's a little hot in here. It's almost like it's anticipatory hospitality. So it's really almost putting your psychic hat on and saying, okay, if I was in the guest experience, what would I be thinking right now? The room is bright. Is it warm enough? Is it cold enough? Can I get outside? If I need a glass of water, is that handy?
I love it. I can't wait to come to one of your events. So before we wrap up, do you have any last words of advice for other entrepreneurs that might be thinking, you know what, either they're entrepreneurs already and they're kind of like struggling, or they're thinking about making the leap? Any advice?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a good idea for a business, learn about it. Surround yourself with people who are smarter than you at it, and learn from them. And the biggest thing is you are not alone, and you don't have to do this alone. As a matter of fact, the more successful you are, the more you realize that it takes a village. It really does. So you have to surround yourself with the people who are going to help and support you. And you will have bad days. You will have days that, like, I can't freaking do this, and you're going to want to lay in bed or watch cartoons or whatever, but don't. I mean, you'll have your bad days, but the good days are going to far outweigh that. And the pride of knowing that you have this incredible thing that you can offer to the world, and it's something that's special for you, and you can do it. That's where your success is going to be. And don't be afraid of it. Be cool with being afraid. Be cool with the fear. Let that fire you, and go kick some ass.
Yes, I love your passion. I wish you continued success, and I'm sure we'll be seeing you at an event soon. And then, if you guys have questions, or if you want to come check out our place, this space is really, really cool. And what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So you can always find us on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. We are members of Visit Rochester right next door. You can find us at our website at www.penthouserock.com. It's penthouseroc.com. And then if you want to come to one of our events, just go to Eventbrite, and if you just start typing in the Penthouse Presents, it'll pop up everything we're doing. We've got cool stuff in July for 4th of July and Jazz Fest, so come down and see us. It'll be fun.
Sounds like fun. So if you got inspired, you can go to www.rochesterrockstars.com, where not only will you see this interview in its entirety, but you will see other inspiring leaders sharing their stories. And if you want to be interviewed yourself, you can fill out the form. Again, it's www.rochesterrockstars.com, and hope to see you soon.